Marysville. So today, I'm Zach, and this is
Sierra.
And today for our guests, we have drill team instructors. So I would love to know, what team are you guys on?
We are part of the Ballard Eagles drill team, associated in Ballard. I am the captain of the drill team. My name's Ashley, and this is Vicky. She is an instructor.
Can you tell us a little bit about military drill and basically what you guys do as a team?
Yeah, sure. So military drill it's a very precision type marching and maneuvering. We do hand drills, and there's some other teams that have like sabers and rifles and do other things.
Yeah, it's you're able to be on the team ages 8 to 21, and it's all like a youth program, and we have all these different events we go to. We do parades in the summers and throughout the rest of the year, and we have competitions and we compete against each other. So it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work. It's year round. There's no like off season really, but yeah.
Is there something that separates you from other teams, like a specific uniform or?
Yes, our colors are turquoise, gold, and black, and you don't see that in any of the other teams. A lot of teams are red, black, and white, some orange in there, but our colors stand out very well, especially our gold blouses,
bright.
and they're very bright. And we have knee-high socks with pom-poms on them, and we wear shoes instead of boots. Yeah.
So you guys are like more casual than everyone else. Do you ever get like ridiculed for that?
It's kind of, because a lot of the other teams really like having the boots, and we're like one of the only teams that don't have boots, so
Yeah,
it's
like battle shoes. They're a little more comfortable than
a
those
little bit more
boots.
comfortable, yeah.
But that's just how we started out. We've been around for about 50 years, so we're one of the oldest teams, so that's kind of just how we started out, and it built from there. And other teams went into more uniform kind of place, but you know.
How long has the Drill Team Association been around?
I think the first teams dated back to like the 1950s. I know our
So, yeah.
team started in the 60s, so I think it was like 5 years ago or 4 that we just had our
50th year, yep.
anniversary kind of thing. So yeah, we've been around for a while. I know my mom was on it, my older sister was on it, my younger sister's on it. We started the team together when I was 8 and she was
11.
older. So yeah.
What's it like at a competition? Like, walk me through a full competition day.
So we get there bright and early. Each team kind of volunteers to run part of the day, and so we are in charge of getting the room set up usually. And then we get there and we all get into the room and make sure we all set up all of the uniforms. The kids kind of chill and wait for the instructors to kind of,
We're all like super nervous.
because they're really
everything,
nervous
like,
usually, yeah.
I know how to do everything.
We have really old hats. Our hats have been around since we started, so we have to brush them off with lint rollers and get that all prepared. And then there's meetings for the captain, and then we have a drill down representative from each team, so they each have go to meetings. And then we usually practice within our room, kind of things that we should go over a little bit more before the actual time on the floor. Then it depends on like who's first on the floor, but you usually start getting ready, which involves all the girls standing in line.
And like pretty much being dressed because we all have like,
Because you can't
wrinkle our uniforms and everything, so we're literally just standing there while they put on our shoes and our socks and our blouses and everything, and you know, we're going over questions for like inspection and everything, but it's pretty not stressful, it's just it's really nerve-wracking because up until the point when you're on the floor you're like freaking out, you know, like before every performance.
Yeah.
You do, you know, but usually the atmosphere is really nice. All the teams, there is competitiveness between all the teams, but we're really all like friends and everything. Like all the teams like grew up together, so it's a cool atmosphere. And then so everybody marches their routines, and then we have judging, and then afterwards we all stand in the big stadium and wait for them to say who won.
Oh, wow.
And everything. So
What exactly are the teams judged on when they go into competition? Is it just a performance or?
Not just the performance, it's where there's GE, which is general effect, on which the judges in the stands pretty much how the wow effect, you could say. And so there's point system, and then there's also marching and maneuvering, M&M.
So like how straight your lines are, you know, how uniform you are when you take turns, how sharp you are, because it is military style. So like in ROTC or military drill teams, the same thing. We have to be very disciplined and everything, but you know, we like to have a little fun with it and give a little pizzazz sometimes and do turns on our knees and do weird stuff and sway back and forth and weird things all the time. You know, as much discipline as we can put into it while still having fun.
Yeah, there's timing too and everything that you have to play in effect.
How long is a routine typically?
It has to be 7 minutes or longer. So when the 7-minute mark hits, we hear a buzzer, and so that's when
Really loud.
she knows she doesn't hear that to wait. It's really loud, and then it can't go longer than 9 minutes, I believe. Yeah. So we kind of go from 7 to 8 minutes usually with our
Oh.
routines.
What got you guys into being in drill? Did you start off as ROTC in high school, or did you always just do drill?
No, we're part of the Seattle Drill Team Association, so pretty much how we used to do it a while ago is we would go and recruit girls, like at parades we would hand out flyers or we would try to go to schools. I got into it because my mom was in it and my older sister was in it, so I, you know, kind of grew up with the team, and then my little sister got onto it. I don't know if you got into it.
I was friends with someone that were part of the dance drill teams, and I couldn't dance worth anything. So my uncle was part of the Eagles area and auxiliary that was in Ballard, and he suggested us to go see how the Ballard Eagles drill team did things, and so we joined them.
That's funny. Zach's a dancer.
Yeah, well, I can't dance, so it's okay.
We do have a dance team.
We do have a dance team,
Only
yes.
we have a competition coming up. It's all city competition in April, and then we have a competition in June. That's state competition, and so we actually do dance teams because that's a whole weekend.
Oh, wow.
So that's really fun too because we get to like have a dance team and a drill team, and it's more stress, but it's more fun too.
Do you guys go together, like dance
Mhm.
team and drill team?
Yep.
Yeah, the drill team or the dance team consists of people that are on the drill team.
Oh,
So
cool.
usually we'll have like a drill team practice, and then after that, for like an hour and a half, we'll have the dance team practice, or we'll have it different days.
What's
you
the
know.
What's the difference between them? Like, is it just like dance is more like?
Dance is anything. You can do anything in dance.
Oh.
Mhm.
Drill.
Do you get like choreography, or do they?
We
Like, because in
do.
drill it's all called out, right?
Mhm.
Do they do that for the dance, or it's a dance you just have to have it memorized?
You have to have it memorized. So
Okay.
it has to be a 3-minute routine. I
I
can't
think it's like
remember.
a little
4 or
over 4
5,
minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And so we have an instructor that comes during the summer and teaches us. She makes up the routine and stuff and teaches them.
Yeah. And on the part of the drill part, we do have to memorize everything, but it is pretty much the captain calling everything or blowing a whistle during state. But so yeah, during state we have to memorize the whole routine because I'm only blowing a whistle the whole time. So you kind of have to memorize.
But
what we're supposed
for
to
city,
blow.
she can call out so they know
Yeah.
what's going on. and
But
stuff.
we're kind of doing it for 4 months straight, so
Oh,
we
yeah.
kind of learn the routines really well. We usually try to prepare really well. So.
Is that how long the competition season is, or is competition year round?
It's just April and June, so we kind of start a couple months before April and go until June for competition reasons. Yeah.
I know there is another team that goes up into Canada and does a competition. We don't do that, but I know there are other ones that they do. Usually our drill team association consists of around the Seattle area, so I think the farthest is up here in Marysville is where some of the teams originate from, but we actually do compete with the team that comes from Idaho, so that's really cool too, that actually is branching out a lot farther.
So I assume that when you're traveling far, you know, you have to like sleep wherever you're going. So we actually have a segment about mind control and how the captain, which is you, can control other people. So we're gonna go to that, and when we come back, we're gonna have some live drill.
Yeah. Mind control?
Zachary, this is the third time you were late. You have detention.
Nah. I'm not late.
Right on time, Zach. It's nice to see you today.
Hey. I have the answers.
No.
How about now?
Okay, fine.
Upstairs.
No.
Sir, Ballard Eagles Drill Team Area 172, Captain Ashley Luberts reporting for competition. Sir, thank you, sir. Mark time, march. City, march. Team, attention! Kick the can. March. Ready, shoot. Howdy. Ready, two. Tick tock. March. Heather's drill. March. Ready, two. Starburst. March. Ready, two.
This is great water. Alright, so today my presentation's on.
Oh my gosh, this day is going so well. I think I love you.
I love you too. What?
Why? We have to kiss, man. And then he's pissed off because.
So I've been meaning to ask you this for a while. Will you?
Oh my god. Hey! What are you doing?
Can't sleep.
Welcome. Now, when we were talking about before how you travel like pretty far, so you have to sleep. How do the sleeping arrangements work? Do you sleep at a school or a hotel?
It really depends on where we're going. Usually, if we're going really far, we'll try to get a hotel. Or I know we've been able to sleep in churches before, or like when we go to competition, it's always at a school, so we always sleep in different classrooms. So that's really cool of the schools to be able to do that. It just all depends on where we're going.
Some of the Eagles clubs let us use their facilities to sleep in and stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the furthest you travel?
Like on a trip or a competition?
Yeah, on competition.
It was a little outside of Spokane for me.
I don't know. I was too young. Wait, I know we go to Moses Lake now.
Yeah, right
Usually,
now
all the
it was,
time.
like,
So.
Where's Moses Lake?
I don't know. Far.
Um,
Like a 4-hour bus ride.
I think
3
it's east.
hours.
Oh, it's by Wenatchee, kind of.
Kind of banana, yeah.
Oh, okay, that's pretty far.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Do
But
you
like I
stay
said,
for a week or a weekend?
It's a weekend. It's Friday through Sunday. we usually leave super early Friday morning, and then leave around like in the afternoon on Sunday to come back.
mm-hmm.
So I know that in the military they have a bunch of different ranks of people. Does that cross over into drill?
It
And if
does.
So how does it work?
Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
For our team, we have a captain, which is me, which is kind of out of the team itself, is like, you know, the leader. And then we obviously have our instructors that aren't on the team specifically, but they run the team. And then below the captain, we have first lieutenant, second lieutenant, and then sergeants. But some other teams usually have like corporals, or they have secretaries or treasurers. It all depends on which team you're on, about what you have. But we've really stuck to the kind of main first lieutenant, second lieutenant, sergeants kind of thing. You know.
Your team seems to be very traditional. Do you guys like to stay very standard with military style?
We do. It's worked for us in the past, so we don't mess with something that works usually. So.
Yeah, and it's cool to be kind of a unique activity. You know, we're not really dance, but we're not strictly drill team. So we try to keep a good balance of both. So when we use tradition and everything like that, then we're really sticking to that. Otherwise, maybe we might go all the way to dance or become too flashy. So if we try to stick to tradition, then usually we keep the whole root of the sport, as you can say.
You guys, since you're both a dance team and a drill team, do you think you have an advantage over one team or a different one because they're strictly drill or strictly dance?
The dance and drill competitions are two different things, so they're judged separately. Usually, it's if another drill team wants to. Not every drill team comes up with a dance team. Some drill teams don't do it ever. We've just always done a dance team just because we've always loved doing it ever since we started, or ever since dance team started. But yeah, they're two different competitions. They're judged differently by different people. So it's not really more of an advantage. It's just kind of, it's a lot more fun doing both, you know, because it's not strictly like drill all the time. You know, we get to be pizzazzy and fun and have costumes and props and everything. So that's really cool.
Do you guys like go on trips or like vacations with your team that aren't strictly drill, like what you were talking about?
Yeah. Do you want to talk about that?
A few years ago, they went to Disneyland. I didn't get to go, but I heard that was a ton of fun. We were saving up to go to Hawaii, but it was, again, because there was a parade there that we could have been involved with. They've been to Kentucky before.
I know my older sister went on a cruise in Florida, you know, so it all depends on what we raise money for, because obviously we have to raise the money to go on these trips, so it all just depends on what we can do.
Mm-hmm.
How do you raise the money for them?
Fundraising.
That's fun.
Lots of fundraisers. This huge one we do is that we work in a food stand at the Seahawks games at the CenturyLink Field.
The parents do, which is really awesome of them.
18 or older.
Yeah, and I've done it before, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work and a lot of commitment, but it's a lot of fun, and it's cool to get, you know, to reward the girls with something cool after all the hard work throughout the year. So, and it's really cool to go to the games. So that's really awesome.
So when you were doing your drill, you were like shouting and everything. Does your voice ever go away? Like, do you lose it, or have you built it up? Because like I know I've done stuff with that, and like in drama classes, and my voice always was gone the next day. But if you're doing that on the daily, how do you maintain your voice?
At first it was really hard because I wasn't used to it, but it's kind of like a muscle. You kind of build it up. Like I actually wasn't shouting as loud as I really do or can, but we kind of try to call from our gut kind of thing. So by doing that, it's a lot easier, because if you just call with your throat, then your voice obviously goes away very quickly. And people that do call with their throat, that it does go away. I used to do that, and I could not keep up during practice, but it's just all depending on how you call kind of thing.
How do you learn all the calls, the different ones? Is it just like memorizing them, or?
Pretty much.
I really
Yeah,
don't know.
it is just memorizing them. Well, she's been a captain too, so
It's being on a team before you end up being an officer. You kind of learn what the other captain has been calling, and you kind of just know it from practice and hearing it over and over and over again. So we do end up practicing a little bit. Like when I was captain, I would go home and practice all my calling, because like she said, if you do call from the throat, your voice is going to be gone. You have to call from your diaphragm. That's one of the big things to learn.
Yeah.
The drills that you do call, like, how do you learn those? Have they just been around since like your drill team started, or do you guys come up with new drills as it goes on?
Both.
Both.
Mm-hmm.
Two of the ones that we did have been with our
Around
team since I think.
Before I can even remember.
Yeah, and then a couple of the ones that she did, we've kind of adapted some of the old ones into new ones so they can be a little bit more showy, because that's the kind of era.
Yeah,
right
you
now,
like to give people something new, at every competition. So we try to, and it's a cool chance to give the girls, that aren't necessarily officers, or even that are officers, that don't involve themselves as much, to be able to come up with drills. And so then, all the drills that we have, someone has come up with at one time. Some drills are named after people, we have drills named Ironman, we have drills, like I said, named City. It's just all things that people have come up with. There's no like set book of drills. It's just, things that we've adapted over time.
Do you ever create your own drills? Like just
All the time.
All the time.
Especially during competition season.
Yep, I've had to come up with a few for this competition.
Yeah.
But it's
so
been
really
fun.
And then we just kind of, throughout the rest of the year, we do them in parades and everything, so it's really cool.
Speaking of like girls that aren't officers or anything, how do you go about being an officer? Are there tryouts, or do your instructors just pick?
We have tryout season, which kind of begins in September, and so during that time, we kind of give any girl that wants to try out a chance to call at practice. So it's more nerve-wracking for some girls than others, but and then we have actual tryouts in usually like October or the end of September.
Yeah.
We all dress up in our uniform, and we have a gym that we practice at, and so when it is time, anybody who has had signed up to try out will go and lead the team back and forth doing hand drills and everything. And even the captain every year, even if you are an officer, you have to try out again, because I may be captain this year, but then next year I might not be anything at all. It's just who rises up in the ranks and who shows that they can do it and is responsible and everything. So, and then in November we have an installation where it's kind of like a reflection throughout the year, and then also the instructors surprise us with who they've picked as officers throughout that year.
What
or
does
the instructors.
average day of an officer look like? Because I know like you talked about how competition goes and how you have to get ready, but how does an officer play into that? Are they like all day just like frantically racing around and doing stuff, or are they just kind of like chilling?
It kind of depends on what we're doing. If we have like an event that just the officers are coming up with, because sometimes the instructors don't plan everything, so us officers plan things. And so like certain parties will plan and everything, or like this Saturday we have a parade, and so afterwards the officers planned like a picnic and an Easter egg hunt and everything. So it's not really too stressful being an officer, because well, depending on what you do and who you are, but because we're all here for each other, we try to act like a team within the team. We all have a chat on Facebook, that we're like, okay, who's going to be here at this time? What are we going to do for this? kind of thing. So it's for a normal day as an officer, not planning anything. It's just like any other day. But you know, we really come out when we're planning stuff, or like basically at practices. You know, you're of responsibility, discipline. So you have to make sure the rest of the team is disciplined, kind of thing. So that's, you know, that's
How do
what
you
we're all here
go
for.
about disciplining your team?
We really have no need to discipline them like severely or anything. Usually it's just like fix your hands, or you know, you have to stand straight, at attention, or no talking, that kind of thing. But most of our girls are really well behaved and everything. So and there's a mutual understanding throughout the team that we really haven't had to discipline anyone like in a long time. You know.
What's your favorite part of drill team?
Oh gosh.
Okay,
That's a
your
hard
top,
question.
Your top 3.
Competition, because even though it's so stressful, it is so much fun, you know, and being able to see the other teams and everything is awesome. You know, I've known some of the girls on the other team since I was like 8 years old, and they've been my friends longer than anybody I know now besides family. So I love going on trips. And Vicky, it's your turn.
My favorite thing about drill is I have such a passion for it, and I think that's something you have to have in life, is something that you have that passion for. And so it's just always something that I can go back to. Like, I've tried to leave the team, but I've always ended up coming back, and I'm still involved with it. I kind of just never left when I retired at 21. So it's just something you kind of need in your life.
Yeah.
So when you're 21, you can't really be in it anymore, but what do you do after that? Is there like a adults version of it, or do you just
We wish.
We wish.
instantly
We wish.
do you just help out?
Yeah, so 21, you can't really compete in competitions. So there are past, like one of our big parades is Torch Lake downtown Seattle, that we have all the old alumni come, so they can march in that and stuff, because it's not
It's really funny.
judged.
Because they're all like, oh my gosh, I haven't done this in years. And
It's really funny, yeah. But
It's really fun.
like what I did was I kind of just came to help out for competitions and stuff, and I kind of just the instructors kind of asked me to come by to some of the practices and help the girls, and I kind of just took that as come every week and help us out. So that's what I did. I mean, some girls don't really come and help out much, but afterwards, but they know they can come anytime they want to.
All right. Well, we're at the end of our show, but before the end of the show, I always like to ask the guests a random question and see how light you are in your feet. So my question of the day is: if you were stranded on an island, you could only have 3 things, what would you take and why?
Oh, I totally had an answer to this question.
Does
Does
we
my
have
best friend
nothing.
count?
Yeah, you can have a person. You can have whatever.
Okay, my best friend Emily. She's actually on the team with me. Obviously nothing electronic, because that wouldn't work. A food restaurant. Can I bring a food restaurant?
Yeah, what
Does that
kind of-
count?